This is CBC Here and Now.
We devised a plan, knowing that I would have to self-isolate for 14 days upon arrival. Condolences, you're denied.
A Newfoundland woman in Nova Scotia says the province violated her rights when it stopped her from coming home after her mother suddenly died. Now she's launching a court challenge.
It seems to be the Minister of Health's attitude that if you don't like it, then sue us. Well, it appears that this is our only option at the moment.
I certainly believe that the government has let me down, let my family down.
Good evening, I'm Carolyn Stokes. Here and Now has learned that a Newfoundland woman is launching a constitutional legal challenge against the province's COVID-19 travel restrictions. Kim Taylor tried to come home from Halifax when her mother Eileen suddenly died this month. After a few days of navigating through COVID red tape, health officials offered condolences, then informed Taylor her request was denied. A similar story emerged earlier this week involving another woman from Alberta, but her travel denial was later overturned. That didn't happen for Taylor. St. John's lawyer Rosellen Sullivan, along with the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, is filing an application to argue that denying Taylor entry to the province is an unjustifiable breach of her charter rights.
Because it seems to be the Minister of Health's attitude that if you don't like it, then sue us. Well, it appears that this is our only option at the moment. I mean, I can tell you that the Canadian Civil Liberties wrote a letter on Monday to the Attorney General, and that hasn't even been acknowledged, let alone responded to. I mean, where is the Attorney General in all of this? Nobody has heard from the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice. So it seems as though this is our only option, and we need to do it now. You know, another woman who is in a very similar situation went to the media. She's now, her reconsideration was accepted. So that by its very nature, to me, suggests that there's arbitrariness into this decision.
Well, this case is the first in the country to challenge provincial travel restrictions introduced during the pandemic. It could be a landmark case of great interest to lawyers and politicians and has the potential to get to the Supreme Court as a matter of urgent national significance. But at the heart of this legal challenge is the story of what happened to Kim Taylor. Anthony is at Supreme Court where the application will be filed.
Well, Carolyn, Kim Taylor lives away, but she kept a relationship with her mom that was very close. She came to Newfoundland every year. She called her mom every day, sometimes 3 times a day, and we've reached her at her home in Nova Scotia. Kim, first off, let me say how sorry I am about the loss of your mother this month.
Thank you very much.
I read the tribute in Carnell's, the loving tribute to their mom. How close were you to your mother?
My mother was my confidant. I was very, very close to my mom. She was my rock. She was my life advice, my cooking advice, you know, very, very close. And, you know, every day that I was away from her, it took a little piece of my heart.
Now, I should point out to viewers that your mother passed away, but it was of natural causes. It was not because of the virus. Walk me through what happened when you tried to get here after you found out that your mother had suddenly died.
So I got a call late Tuesday night, just before midnight, from my sister in Newfoundland, advising that the paramedics were at my parents' house, working on my mom because she was unresponsive. And I stayed on the phone while the firemen and the paramedics worked. And so very grateful to those first responders and everything they do. You know, can't thank them enough. They were fabulous people, and so very kind, and you know, very grateful to them. So that night, my sister and I stayed on the phone, and we worked through the details, and cried and tried to figure out where do we go from here, and how do I get to Newfoundland. Given the fact that the day before our mother died, a travel ban went in place, and then we carried on to determine, okay, what flights are available, how soon can I get out, how soon can I get there to start this isolation, and get it over with, so that you know, I could be with my family, and we could honor my mother's wishes for for her burial.
So your plan was to self-isolate when you got here and then have the funeral arrangements that your mother wanted 2 weeks after you would get here, right?
That's correct, because I understand what the rules are in Newfoundland right now. And my goal was to get to the province as soon as possible to start the isolation. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to interact with my family. I fully knew that. And that in itself is heartbreaking enough, but willing to accept that. But I couldn't secure the travel until I heard from the Newfoundland government. And it's difficult enough grieving your mother and trying to figure out logistics of everything, and then to wait longer than 3.5 business days. So this didn't happen over a weekend or anything like this. This process started on a Wednesday and ended on a Friday night. And I was absolutely devastated all over again. It really felt like somebody had kicked me when I was down. I'm not somebody who wasn't born and raised there. I was born and raised there. I visit there every year. It's just not right. It's people who are grieving the loss of a loved one, such as a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, a child, should not be subjected to this level of cruelty by a government entity.
Now, as you probably know, taking a legal action that could potentially get to the Supreme Court is a lengthy, taxing, grueling process. Why would you want to make a legal case out of this?
Well, our parents raised us to do what was right, but most importantly, to speak up when things are very wrong. Because if you don't speak up, who's going to speak up? And my mother would be absolutely horrified and devastated to know that this is what happened with her passing. And that is what is heartbreaking for us. And we think that if we can help one person, one family not have to go through this, then it's worth it to take it. My mother was very determined and she was fierce. She would say, you do whatever you need to do to make this right. And that's what I'm doing.
Well, Kim, I'm sorry that you've been through what you've been through on so many levels, but I appreciate that you managed to find the time to speak to us on Here and Now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So why would one person be allowed to come here for a funeral while Kim Taylor was refused? We asked Dr. Janice Fitzgerald today, and she said you can get an exemption for a funeral if you have the proper plan, but she didn't answer why people aren't told the reason their applications are denied.
People are permitted to come in for end of life. So if you have somebody who is close to the end of life, people are allowed to or will be granted an exemption to come in to provide care or to visit with them. But the isolation period still applies. People who are coming in for bereavement reasons, whether they have to provide support to family members after somebody dies, those are exemptions as well. However, the isolation criteria still applies.
Lawyer Rosellen Sullivan says the paperwork will be filed in Supreme Court on Tuesday when the court reopens after the long weekend. Well, in other news, schools will remain closed for the rest of the school year for K-12 students in the province. The Minister of Education made the announcement this morning in a news release, but parents and students are encouraged to keep learning at home with guidance from teachers. The school board says it's already distributed 2,500 laptops and iPads to students, and it has 1,500 more currently being sent out. The government says it's working on a plan for school instruction for September.
The scenarios could be, for instance, how many students, if indeed schools could get partially opened up, the length of the school day, or, if it's completely online, what supports would be required. All of this will be determined and working in conjunction with the public health officials. So right now, the school will be, they're open. They need to explore whatever scenarios that are available to them. And this is where, because we really can't forecast where this virus is going to be.
Well, the cost of gas is up across the province this week, but people in Labrador who saw prices skyrocket recently will soon have some relief at the pumps. The price jumped by up to 30 cents a litre in Labrador last month. Woodward's Oil was among those businesses that requested the increase from the Public Utilities Board, the argument being that the company purchased the fuel before oil prices tanked. But now the company says it'll soon be time to lower those prices since new shipments of gas at cheaper prices are set to arrive in Happy Valley Goose Bay this weekend. Well, on the heels of federal money announced for the fishery, there is more good news for crab fishermen in Newfoundland and Labrador. The FFAW has announced the price-setting panel sided with the union after an arbitration hearing on Wednesday over snow crab pricing. According to the union, the panel has reset the price from the $2.90 a pound wanted by the Association of Seafood Producers to $3.50 a pound. There were weeks of protests over low crab pricing and work conditions surrounding COVID-19. Harvesters held blockades to fish plants and mass protests in the parking lot of the union's headquarters in St. John's. Well, now to a fight about cats. A feral cat caretaker group is upset that the town of Gander removed their makeshift cat shelters. As the backlash is growing, the town's mayor is insisting it was not a malicious move. Here and Now's Garrett Berry explains.
Taking those shelters and trying to stop people from caring for those cats was setting those cats up for a death sentence.
Emotions are running hot. In one corner, feral cat lovers who dedicate hours to their cause.
I was heartbroken for our ferals. We did return later that night and there were actually 3 ferals out pawing at their empty food bowls. It's heartbreaking to see a live animal that have had constant and adequate care for the last 2 to 3 years now have none ripped away from them with no warning in sight.
In the other, a mayor who says the backlash is totally out of proportion.
We're certainly not trying to declare war on them or to dismiss them or undermine them or discredit them. This was a routine matter of municipal enforcement based on a complaint from a citizen. There was no direction from council.
It's all because of these shelters, part of a trap and neuter return effort for feral cats. They were taken to the town depot. The mayor says the shelters were on town property without permission. But the caretakers say the town should have tried harder to contact them.
The town council, they must have had my email and phone number because I did have a meeting with them last year.
The shelters have since been returned.
In fairness, they weren't damaged, they weren't destroyed, or any of the other things you might see on social media.
So, why all the fuss? The group says without these shelters, cats will perish.
They're open to all kinds of elements, predators, humans. They have no source of food anymore that they were known to for the last 2 years.
The backlash was so strong, the mayor actually wrote a 900-word letter calling out abusive language and unwarranted outrage on social media. He says he wants everybody to come together and actually address a deeper issue.
I've done a fair bit of research, to be honest, on my own, and I continue to be confounded by how there could be so much, very strong information on both sides of a single issue.
That issue, whether trap, neuter, and return is the right thing to do for feral cats. For now, the group says it plans to continue its efforts as soon as possible. Garrett Berry, CBC News, Gander.
Well, back in St. John's, disappointment for fans of the Rawlins Cross roundabout. This morning, the traffic lights were switched back into operation at the notoriously confusing intersection. Rawlins Cross was reconfigured into a roundabout style almost 2 years ago to help with traffic flow. It proved successful in that the number of collisions in the area had dropped, but some pedestrians felt unsafe crossing the road and fought for the lights to be restored. The city says painted lines will be put down as quickly as possible. And a search and rescue cormorant helicopter could be spotted in the skies above Gander today. The flyby from 103rd Squadron was to thank the frontline workers who are on the job during the pandemic. The chopper flew over the town and the hospital before returning to the airport.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. Bonus deadline is midnight tonight. Order tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Much nicer day out there across the province, and that's basically only because the winds have finally died down. If we take a look at those temperatures, the hot spots actually down along the south coast. Marystown recording a temperature so far, or at least the Burin Peninsula recording a temperature near 11 degrees. And then we've got temperatures starting to warm up nicely. Burgeo 9 degrees, and then even 8 up in Labrador, so Lab City. So it is a beautiful afternoon, plenty of sunshine there. That area low pressure is finally moving off, which is allowing those winds to ease. And it looks like it's going to stay that way as we head through the next couple of days. But we do have some of that colder air in play, which is why we're seeing some flurries in the mix. And that's generally the story really over the next couple of days. There's not a whole lot significant weather-wise to talk about. We are looking at overnight tonight the chance of some showers, but the winds will stay quite light. And again, some flurries along coastal areas of Labrador. And then as we head through the day tomorrow, we're looking at a generally unsettled day again. We're certainly going to see some sun in the mix, but there is also that risk that we'll see some flurries and or showers, very isolated in nature through the afternoon. But the winds will be very light tomorrow, so that's good news there. And that's going to allow those temperatures, which won't be overly warm, to feel a little bit better. So about 7 or 8 degrees, again reaching those double digits down along the southern areas of the island, and then we're looking at temperatures even into 6 and 7 degrees for parts of Labrador. Again, those winds will be light, but still looking at that potential for some flurries. Pretty much the same thing on Sunday, finally starting to see a little bit warmer air, degree by degree. We'll take it though at this point. 9 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, 5 in St. Anthony, and it looks like a temperature near 6 degrees for St. John's. Now, it won't be a washout by any means with these showers, so you're still going to be able to get out and enjoy the weekend. But if you note, these temperatures finally starting to reach the double digits by the time we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday at this point looks beautiful. Let's hope it stays that way, sitting around 12 degrees. For Western Newfoundland, by the time Monday rolls around, that's when you'll see those warmer temperatures reaching those double digits, and then it looks like teens by midweek next week. And then pretty similar up through Labrador as well. We're looking at temperatures by the time Monday rolls around about 6 degrees. Still have that chance of flurries in there for you for Lab West, and then double digits by Tuesday and Wednesday. And then same thing for Eastern Labrador. Some rain and mix for Monday. And then Tuesday and Wednesday looking absolutely gorgeous. Temperatures in the teens with overnight lows above 0 as well. So that's certainly good news. Just wanted to share this great shot by Joshua Squires. He sent us this lovely photo, a wharf and an iceberg in Sibley's Cove on the Northern Avalon. Thank you so much for sending that in. And if you have any weather photos to share with us, send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Time to find out who's celebrating. Let's start with the anniversaries. Happy 50th anniversary to Edgar and Rowena Clark of Packet, White Bay. Wishing Dave and Victoria Edison of Mount Pearl a happy 54th anniversary. Happy 57th anniversary to Maud and Bert Roberts of Upper Island Cove. Happy 57th anniversary also to Phyllis and Stuart Legg of Whiteway. Congratulations to Raymond and Winnie Edwards. They're celebrating 58 years of marriage. Happy 50th anniversary today to Mike and Alice Anderson of Corner Brook. Happy 58th anniversary to Frank and Ada Dean of North Harbor, Placentia Bay. Happy 53rd anniversary to Bonnie and Derek Wagg of Little Harbor. Happy 57th anniversary to Joy and Bert Barrett of Spaniards Bay. Happy 57th anniversary also to Scott and Jesse Thomas of Middle Arm. A golden anniversary for Roland and Donna Noseworthy of Pooch Cove. Happy 50th also to Dan and Rose Philpott of Plate Cove West. Congratulations to Robert and Gloria Efford of Mount Pearl on their 59th anniversary. Happy 66th anniversary to Don and Lydia Waterman of Gambo. Happy 61st anniversary to Clara and Simon Canning of Roddickton. Happy 50th anniversary to Hiram and Catherine Hutchings from Pasadena. Happy anniversary to Pat and Buck Piercy of Pasadena. It's their 51st. Happy 52nd anniversary to Wilfred and Wendy Wells. Now for the birthdays. Birthday greetings for William Hotshot Maloney, who's turning 94 in Gander. Mary Shepard is also celebrating a 94th birthday in Gander. Happy 100th birthday to Myrtle Collins Hoddenott, who's from Indian Islands and now lives in Lewisport. Happy 90th birthday to Dorothy Rogers from Carbonear. Happy 96th birthday to Grace Mitchell from St. Philip's. Happy 94th birthday to Elizabeth McKenzie from St. John's. Wishing Bernice Squires of Masonic Park a happy 90th birthday. Happy 97th birthday to Evangeline Payne of Cowhead, now living in Corner Brook. Aloysius O'Brien of Cape Broyle celebrating his 94th birthday. Happy 91st birthday to Bessie Stuckless of Twillingate, now living in Lewisport. Happy 90th birthday to Mary Loader of Badger. Happy 93rd birthday to Sadie Loader from Fogo, now living in St. John's. Happy 92nd birthday to George Roach of Coley's Point. Hazel Barker of Marystown is celebrating a big one. She's turning 104. Wishing Blanche Biles of St. Anthony a happy 96th birthday. Happy 93rd birthday to Mabel Parsons of Belle Island. Dawn Hiscock of Corner Brook turns 90 today. Happy birthday, and happy 93rd birthday to Thelma Coates in Flowers Cove. Another fine crowd. Congratulations once again. Well, quite often on the Friday before the May 24th long weekend, we show you the Gravel Pit song by Buddy What's-His-Name and the Other Fellers. But this year, a different take on the song.
It's the 24th of May and we can't get away. Stuck in a house and we're going cray-cray. We're sick of each other's faces and we hate stuff and to bits. Can't go to places, so the couch is where he sits.
Labrador. With their update on the classic song. It's one of many sketches the group has created and will release tonight at 8 o'clock Newfoundland time on social media. It's an online sketch show called The Corona Chronicles. You can check it out on Twitter and Facebook. Just search for Theatre Newfoundland and Labrador. Well, that's it for us tonight. We'll be back on Monday. Have a safe and enjoyable Victoria Day long weekend. Next is CBC News from Nova Scotia. Good night.
There ain't no quiet here. It's the 24th of May and we can't get away. Stuck in a house and we're going cray-cray. We're sick of each other's faces and we hate stuff and to bits. Can't go to places, so the couch is where he sits. John is out to play, and Sue and Henry too. I wish Mom would let me out of this godforsaken zoo. Mom is my new teacher, but then she always cries. Mother's worse at teaching math than Dad at baking pies.